$290.70 a pallet. Home run. Yeah. Top of the morning, ladies and gentlemen. Official test start time 2 minutes, okay? This will all be on your finals. You've been warned. Please do your homework. Let's see who's paying attention in class. We have, what are we starting the day with? Coffee. The pallet is $290.70, baby. Check it out. Look at that grid. Good to go, right? All right, let's rock and roll. One thing I forgot, I completely forgot to link up my controller. But you see the controller is here on the side. Now we can get going. Okay, now we're loaded. Excellent. All right, so let's pick up where we left off. I still have the simulator open. We're going to shut that down for a quick second. I'm trying to think. Oh, I know what I could do. That way you guys can have both at the same time. So let's make sure that we situate our grid here. So I have both. Excellent. All right, so I'm trying to think what else. See, that's a little bit better. Yeah. You guys get to rock and roll. All right, let us secure the network first so we can test it. And we are in another franchise. Okay. Sorry about that. Trying to adjust this thing. These are very, very expensive. Very hard to come by. Um, Radarplex 7, baby. It's a little bit of time to cool off. All right, let's go Bloomberg, which I actually got a head start on you guys because I tuned into the markets as soon as they opened. I knew we were gonna do a module. I just wasn't sure how we were gonna format it. But this keeps me grounded. You know, this is very important. You know about that. Boom. All right, let's go videos. Let's go. First of all, SK Hynix seeks to raise 29 billion in the United States to meet AI chip demand. Not bad. Goldman Sachs cuts fourth quarter crude forecast to $80. Agree. Um, SpaceX sells 25 billion bonds, cuts interest costs. All right. So what do we do? Let's jump right into the uh, let's jump into the China show. All right, let's rock and roll. Let's go to news. Let's just double check crypto. This is all we got for today. So, you guys ready? Let's rock and roll. Binance withdraws crypto license application in Greece. Binance Holdings Limited announced on Wednesday that it decided to cancel the markets and crypto assets regulation (MICA) ticker symbol license application in Greece and seek it in another European Union member state. We made this decision after careful consideration of the status and the timeline of the process in Greece with our users' interests at the center. The company shared in a statement, adding that even though it worked with the Hellenic Capital Market Commission, ticker symbol HCMC, for months in good faith, there was still no formal decision despite the MICA transition period coming to an end. Nonetheless, Binance noted that it will continue to pursue a long-term path in Europe. The next date where the firm will apply for the relevant license is yet to be revealed. Amazing, right? Let us continue. We already covered the fact that they have 60% of the derivative. All right, let's rock and roll. Open AI, Broadcom partner on AI jalapeno chip. OpenAI announced on Wednesday that it partnered with Broadcom Incorporated on developing its first custom artificial intelligence chip. Let me improve this quality. You guys don't complain. Give me a second. Just this one second. There it goes. I really have to adjust this because for some reason it's not working. Okay, there we go. That's a little bit better for now because I'm intrigued. I just want to log on. Okay, perfect. Let's take it from the top. OpenAI, Broadcom partner on AI jalapeno chip. OpenAI announced on Wednesday that it partnered with Broadcom Incorporated on developing its first custom artificial intelligence chip called Jalapeno, intended for large language model LLM interference or inference. Jalapeno is a part of our long-term full-stack infrastructure strategy to make compute more abundant, resulting in AI which is faster, more reliable, more affordable for people and businesses, and can be used to solve more important problems. By designing more of the stack ourselves, we can serve more intelligence with greater efficiency and keep pushing advanced AI toward broader access. OpenAI's president and co-founder Greg Brockman. The new chip was designed by OpenAI with Broadcom and Celestica Incorporated, assisting in implementation, board and rack system integration, networking capabilities, and scalable production. Broadcom Incorporated stands in the Green Ranger 1.06%, 384.18. SpaceX XAI set to expand push into AI video tools. SpaceX XAI is doubling down on video and image generating tools, the information reported on Wednesday, citing people familiar with the project. The company reportedly sees an opening in the market as rivals like OpenAI and Anthropic offer fewer visual generation capabilities. XAI launched an upgraded video model last week, underscoring its push into visual AI while also seeking outside help to compete in other areas, including coding. Space exploration technology stands in the green 1.06%, the Green Ranger $157.76. Microsoft targets cybercrime assembly line. Microsoft Corporation announced in a blog post on Wednesday that it has taken a new approach to fighting cybercrime, hitting the cyber attack supply chain instead of just individual services. We are simultaneously targeting two widely used cybercrime tools, Amade and SteelC, after AI assisted analysis revealed that they rely on the same infrastructure. This action goes after the cybercrime assembly line, where coordinated tools drive ransomware, financial fraud, and disruptions to public services. The tech giant shared. Microsoft revealed that in the first 2 weeks of May, Amade and SteelC were linked to over 140,000 infected computers worldwide. The company said it is working with Europol and other industry partners to tackle the issue. Since the beginning of the operation, more than 18,000 victim computers have been identified. It's no longer enough to go after threats one by one. We need to interrupt how the attacks are put together, Microsoft stressed. Microsoft Corporation stands in the red range of 0.03%, 373.83. Nokia, AWS, to expand autonomous networks cooperation. Nokia Corporation announced on Wednesday that it is expanding its collaboration with Amazon.com Incorporated, Amazon Web Services, ticker symbol AWS, on autonomous networks with the aim of strengthening them with artificial intelligence, AI, and cloud power technologies. According to Nokia's official statement, the two companies will work together to bring Nokia's autonomous networks fabric, its foundational software layer that integrates multi-vendor, multi-domain networks into an intelligent self-managing system to AWS. The aim is to give operators access to advanced AI and cloud services required for level 4 autonomy. The end project is expected to become available later in the year. At Nokia, we move operators toward greater autonomy through the convergence of intent based networking, agentic AI, and cloud native architecture. Together with AWS, we're building a platform that scales operators' ambitions while maintaining the control and governance they need. Nokia's AI and Autonomous Networks Chief Technology Officer, CTO, Ogu Sunai said. Nokia Corporation stands in the red range of 2.28%, 12.00. Nokia Corporation sponsored A stands in the green 1.75%, 13.94. Amazon Incorporated .com stands in the green 3.31%, 241.87.
Yeah, keep it here, Steve says. All right, we'll have more coming out with Steve coming up. Chief William, the first one, Diego, and Donnie, and then Milo's going to be joining us as well throughout the next few hours or so. But yes, as Steve mentioned, right, there's a lot of AI.
All right, let's rock and roll. Walmart set to buy French ad tech firm in $1.4 billion deal. Walmart Incorporated agreed to acquire French advertising technology company Vive.co, with the Wall Street Journal reporting on Tuesday that the deal is worth approximately $1.4 billion, citing people familiar with the matter. Vive.co operates a self-service platform that helps businesses place advertisements on connected and streaming television platforms. Walmart said the acquisition will help more advertisers launch television and campaigns and better measure their results through Walmart Connect, the retailer's advertising business. Vive.co Chief Executive Arthur Theroux and Chief Technology Officer Frank Tesla are expected to join Walmart following the transaction. If completed, the acquisition will be Walmart's largest since its 2.3 billion purchase of Vizio in 2024. Walmart Incorporated stands in the green 0.12%, 119.56.
And that's why we are relatively conservative on the overall broader markets. So that's why
here we go. Now we're getting to the good stuff. You guys ready? Check this out.
Yeah, that's how did you put a little bit more the credit to household?
And of course, we are BlackRock and we are Blackstone, baby. Check us out. Blackstone to invest 30 billion in Japan AI data centers. Blackstone intends to invest $30 billion in artificial intelligence data centers in Japan over the next 3 to 5 years, Nikkei reported on Tuesday, citing Jonathan Gray, Blackstone's president and COO. According to the publication, the businessman said that Japan's private equity market will grow to be just as significant as India's. Gray went on to say that worries about the AI bubble are outweighed by the risk of not developing sufficient computing capacity. God bless you, my love. Dios la bendiga.
Okay, then so where do we
Blackstone Incorporated stands in the red today. The red Ranger 3.87%, 115.42. Um, the simple answer is this: a lot of babies are coming from Japan. You guys need to look into that. Sadly, um, India is slowing down in that sense, but they already have market cap as of right now. But 15, 20, 25 years from now, they're they're predicting that Japan is going to be that market. So, how is that going to impact your products, your services, your industry, and your trade? So, think about it from an investment standpoint, from a personal standpoint, and also for a market outlook standpoint. Check this out. Meta unveils $299 AI glasses. Kylie Jenner model. Can you believe this? This is hilarious. But shout out to the Kardashians because they are my business partners. So you go, Kylie. Let me find out. Meta Platforms Incorporated and Luxottica SA launched Meta glasses on Tuesday, a new line of AI-powered smart glasses starting at $299. Meta said the glasses build on the technology and features of the world's best-selling AI glasses and are available in 26 styles through Meta and selected retail partners. The company said the devices feature Meta AI powered by MuseSpark, allowing users to access AI tools, capture photos and videos hands free, and use live translation. One of the frame options was developed in collaboration with Kylie Jenner. Meta described glasses as the most exciting hardware category of the AI era, saying the new devices are designed to deliver an all day AI assistant that understands the world from your perspective. The launch comes as technology companies increasingly push AI powered hardware, with Qualcomm CEO Cristiano Amon recently stating AI agents will become the new app. Essilor Luxottica stands in the green 0.07%, 95.73. Meta Platforms also stands in the green 0.35%, 564.17. Selective for those quality roles. Maybe cut some exposure to be narrowing your exposure to the technology to avoid. And let me just take a quick look. For the rest part, if you have assets with very high. Okay, I think we stopped with Supermicro, but let's continue. United States President Donald Trump signed two executive orders on quantum technology at the White House on Monday, launching a national effort to build a quantum computer capable of major scientific calculations and expand quantum enabled sensors and networks within 5 years. Trump said the second order directs federal agencies to transition their computer systems to quantum cryptography by 2031, calling the standards extremely strong. So, again, from an investment standpoint, we're looking at a 5 year window. So, when you think about your investment portfolios, think about a 5 year window for the time being. Trump said the second order directs federal agencies to transition their computer systems to quantum cryptography by 2031, calling the standards extremely strong. He also said the United States should lead wider adoption of the technology to protect future digital infrastructure. Very interesting. Now let's go on to Supermicro. Supermicro soars almost 20% on raised ratings. The shares of Supermicro Computer Incorporated jumped on Monday, popping almost 20% after GF Securities raised the firm's stock rating from hold to buy. The securities company set the IT firm's 1 year stock price target at $48 apiece, citing solid demand trends and Supermicro's ties to SpaceX as the main drivers behind the potential higher stock price. Supermicro's stock skyrocketed 19.90% at 2:11 p.m. Eastern Time, selling at
$36.78
$36.78 a
always
piece.
to look at where money coming
Supermicrocomputer
from.
Incorporated stands in the red
The first stage
1.33%,
is funded by the hyperscaler, and the
32.88.
second stage is funded by whole society. All those large language model in the US IPO is getting money from the whole society. The Chinese government funding all the funding
Gold
using
falls
government
2%,
bond is
silver
funded
down
by
5%
7%,
as
and
metals
the
extend
last stage,
losses.
if all those cheap
Precious
money
metals
buying those
extended their
very very
losses on
easy
Tuesday,
IPO, this is the
with
right thing
silver
that you
plunging
had to follow.
5% and
What
gold
all
declining by
those
more than
e-commerce,
2%,
which is
as investors
flavor of
anticipated
their
this week's
application,
report
they
on
easily
the
have
personal
access to them to
consumption
get IPO money to
expenditures
pumping
price
those
index.
savings
The United
account.
States Federal Reserve's preferred
Not there yet.
Not there
gauge
yet.
of inflation,
Tell me
amid
about
growing
opportunities you
expectations
mentioned even
of
offshore.
an incoming
Give
rate
me
hike.
city catalysts on the
Meanwhile,
horizon here. And then once
Deutsche
again,
Bank
was
and
maybe
Bank
it'll
of
be
America Global
to
Research
spark some sort of
both
stimulus
revised their
action
projections,
from
now
policymakers.
expecting the
What's your
Fed
take on that? What's really the next
to
catalyst?
raise the
Well, we
interest rates
definitely, I would
at
definitely mark
its
my
September
calendar
meeting,
for 2
as the
things.
central
First
bank
is the
seems to
earnings
adopt
season.
a
The
more
second
hawkish approach
is the
under
July
the
board
leadership of
meeting
Fed
and the
Chair Kevin
July
Warsh.
FOMC. For the
Gold
July
fell
board
by
meeting, whether this
2.2%
data
to
is really enough for September
$4,099.37 per
2024
ounce
exports is bad.
at
It's not
3:55
bad.
a.m.
The
Eastern
economy
Time,
is not
while
bad.
silver dropped by
Policy is
5%
good,
to go
but
for
still the retail sales,
61.84 per
negative
ounce
growth is very
at
very weak.
3:58
So I
a.m.
would
Eastern
say they
Time.
should buy gold
Meanwhile,
because the
platinum dipped by
fundamentally and somehow
3.15%
if they do,
Okay.
it's going
to
to be
Your meeting July
1,635.17 per ounce at 3:57 a.m. Eastern Time, and
Okay,
palladium
now the order
slipped
of trade
by
in Shanghai Shipton and
2.8% to
Hong Kong persists. The China shipment
$1,217.78 at 3:58 a.m. Eastern Time. Magnifico. Let us continue. This is
Peru
as of the
accumulates
22nd, so
orders
we're
later
going
on
back
this
in time
morning. The
here.
company has sued the
Silver
U.S.
drops
Department of Defense,
3.5%
seeking to be
as Fed
removed
rate
from a
hike
blacklist that
expectations
identifies
grow.
the company as a
The prices of
sponsor
precious
of
metals declined
military.
on
Our
Tuesday,
tech reporter
with
Luis
silver
Davis with us
falling
here
by
right now.
more
So
than
what's the argument
3.5%,
from Alibaba
erasing
side?
yesterday's gains
Yes,
as
so
investors'
first off,
expectations
Alibaba
of the
argues
United
that the
States
listing
Federal Reserve
with the
raising
Constitutional Legal
its
process
interest rates
because
in the
they
near
think that
future
the listing would
outweighed the
prevent
progress in peace
substantial evidence
negotiations
examination.
between the
And
United
second, that
States
they
and
think
Iran.
that the listing violates the right to
Traders
exercise
anticipated
interest
this week's report
amendments of U.S.
on the
Constitution
personal
because
consumption
it
expenditures
prevents them from
price
retaining
index,
certain
the
lobbyists as
central
they
bank's
advocates
preferred
that
gauge
they have
of
been doing for
inflation,
years to
as they
advocate
digested
for them,
Fed
especially
Chair
this time
Kevin
that they're
Warsh's
touting the
hawkish
listing.
comments following last week's Fed
What
meeting,
about other
with
companies
the
on
new
this list?
chair
Any others?
placing
And
greater
what is
emphasis on
who
price
is SpaceX
stability.
to the companies?
Silver dropped by 3.64%
Yes,
to
so there are a couple other
62.72
big
per
names of
ounce
Chinese
at
manufacturing
1:10
base
a.m. Eastern Time,
headquartered
while
on
gold
this
fell
list.
by
Tencent is
1.49%
one.
to
They were
go for
listed last year, and together with Alibaba, who were listed
4,129.04.
earlier
So
this
for my
year,
students, I want you to tell me
was
the difference
Baidu.
between Monday and
Alibaba's
Tuesday. What was the
Tianjin
drop?
Equity,
What
and
was the
also
percentage?
the
We know we're
Renesas
at 2% plus or
manufacturing line,
2%
and
minus.
also
Tell me what the
Zhongchen
difference is.
manufacturing
This is
including
1.49 on
Jiangxi.
Monday
And this
and
list,
2 point something on
it
Tuesday.
does not lead
Let's see
to
who's paying
very,
attention in class.
it
That's
leads
going
to
to be
very
extra credit.
few
Let's see who gets the extra
transactions, but
bonus.
it's mostly sort of same list,
Keep
and
going.
also as a warning for
Went over
investors
that. Went over that.
for their being on the list.
What do we hope to
Okay.
pass from these sort of
This
challenges?
is
Do you think
Monday.
that there was any
SpaceX
success in the
reflection.
space company in
Set to
challenging
ink
these
$6.3
sort of
billion computing
Yes,
deal.
actually, Xiaomi, the smartphone
Space
company,
Exploration
successfully
Technologies
managed to
Corporation,
get itself
better
off the
known as
list in
SpaceX,
2021
signed
after
a
suing
computing power
like
agreement
Alibaba did.
with
And also there
Reflection
was
AI
another chip
Incorporated,
maker, Advanced
an
Micro
open
Fabrication
source AI
Equipment. They
startup
also
backed by NVIDIA
were
Corporation,
able to get themselves off
CNBC
the
reported on
list.
Monday, citing materials it obtained. The deal is worth approximately 6.3 billion, presuming it runs through the end of the term, with the two companies allowed to end it with a 90-day notice following the first 3 months. Reflection AI is set to pay SpaceX $150 million a month, starting at the beginning of July, with the agreement to last until sometime in 2029. With this deal, Reflection AI will gain access to semiconductors and hardware from the SpaceX Colossus 2 data center, including NVIDIA's GB300 chips. Space Exploration Technologies, better known as SpaceX, it's in the Green Ranger, 1.50%, 158.45. So now, for my business students, okay, we're going to take this as an example. I want you to write your papers on this. So here we go. 5 pages, 5 paragraphs each, 5 sentences each paragraph, 5 words minimum per sentence, 5 computer spaces, and I want 5 revisions. You can use your hyperscientific calculator. You can use any artificial intelligence or any technology, but you must show the work. If you do not show the work, I'm going to assume all you did was use technology, you will get zero credit for it. So let's break this down. So the deal is worth 6.3 billion. They expect it to go all the way until 2029. So we're talking about a 3.5 year deal if it's already in place. But listen to the clause on the agreement. Both companies are allowed to end it with a 90-day notice following the first 3 months. So they're going to go into this partnership for 3 months, and then it's supposed to go for 3.5 years. But either side can cancel it with a 90-day notice. So they could be a potential partner for 6 months. They could be a potential partner for 9 months, a year, or go, 24 months or the 36 months. Why is this important? Think about your company and your space. For example, I own a technology company, so this applies to me, but it also opens up a portal for you if you can apply for business. There's another wildcard explanation I'm going to give you. So think about this. Look how flexible these terms are when it comes to companies that are in the tech space. They're not forcing anything. I'll give you an example. The majority of companies right now, including mine, we're going to partner up with a behemoth such as NVIDIA, right? So you think about what's really their competitors. You see OpenAI with the jalapeno chip. You see Microsystems doing their own thing with different AMD powered chips. All these other companies figured out that even though NVIDIA is the leader, if they just diversify by uniting with other companies, even if it's at a smaller or a medium scale, collectively they can have a bigger market share. And this is an example here. You got SpaceX, which you know that they deal in all kind of technologies, but you also have these other companies merging together, and they're saying, listen, the deal could be worth 6.3 billion, but we can do business 3 months at a time. So after the first 3 months, we're only locked in for those 90 days. After that, if you want to cancel, you got 90 days to give us notice, and we'll cash you out in 6 months, or we'll cash you out in 9 months, or we'll cash you out in 12 months. This is the kind of structured deal that I want for what I'm pursuing as far as the venue that I'm going to have for my catalog. So this is an amazing article. And let me just give you guys some insights so you guys can look into it. This is in your finals, so check this out. Again, now that I gave you guys a little bit of a background, let's go over the actual stipulations of what they're putting out into the press. Remember, this is financial news, so there's no fluff here. SpaceX Exploration Technologies Corporation, better known as SpaceX, signed a computing power agreement with Reflection AI Incorporated. So this is SpaceX and Reflection AI, open source AI startup backed by NVIDIA. So indirectly, even though they're a seasoned veteran competitor, they're just new to the market, meaning pre-revenue, now beginning to be revenue. They're backed by NVIDIA, but they are open to work with AMD or any other company, because remember, the terms allow every company to go this way or go that way. So this is good for BlackRock and good for Blackstone, because now I can offer them a similar sunset clause. Now I can go forward in any business negotiation and give this example and say, okay, you guys want to host a catalog, right? We want to do a 3-year term. We want to go 36 months. I'll tell you what, I would probably have to change the terms a little bit. Let's do business for the next 6, 8 to 12 months. And within 90 days, you guys can cancel. So for the investors, it doesn't matter what the event is or what product or service, what industry or what trade. These are the new types of agreements so that nobody feels like they're, you know, in fear of getting left out. Nobody feels jaded that they're locked into an agreement and there's nothing that they can do about it. I believe the more we focus on technology, the more these types of agreements will come into play. So I'll give you another example. When we showcase Trump's attempt for the quantum technology, this agreement that was signed lets me know this is the real Donald Trump. In other words, this is what I choose to focus on. I'm not worried about political tensions overseas and things like that because technology overpowers that. Technology is available to the whole universe. Technology is available to the whole world. Whether political parties agree or disagree, they're still going to have to use technology. What is technology? Hardware, software, and the programs that are the bridge between technologies. So, in a world where everybody wants you to stay complacent or live in the past, we have to push forward with technology to get to the goals that we have. And that is so important. And I can give you the example with my catalog. Of course, investment firms want to put you in a box and say you're this type of product or this type of service, you're in this type of industry or trade, therefore you fit this category. But this is breaking through, it's penetrating to more markets and more segments than just technology. And this is the key right here. This is why whenever I speak with somebody in the entertainment world, they don't understand the perspective of the fact that we're approaching everything through technology. We are a technology based company. We're not going to settle for going into the previous mentality of, let's say, for example, my catalog. There's so many verticals and horizontals, and when you're negotiating, it has to be included because this is the direction that technology is going in, and this is why it's so important. Had we not done this rehearsal, had we not done these studies for your finals, we would have missed out on an amazing opportunity. And that's the thing about technology. Every day we get to take a little bit of, like a little piece, like a little fragment of it that we can use to continue to build. So why is it important? It's important because sometimes, you know, it can be very fraternal when it comes to technology. People may judge you or treat you differently because you don't have a certain background and a certain, core fundamental belief. But the thing about technology is that it's available to everybody. Everybody should try if they're able to. And for new entrepreneurs, no, you should not settle for anything less. And that's the point. I have everything from toxic family members to childhood friends to people that just don't understand because they've never done business at this scale. And once you put on the future glasses, you cannot take them off. I'll give you an example. Part of my engineering firm has to do research, right? In order to make things better, improve on things. Give me 1 second.
For different application scenarios, we have the best design for each.
Anytime I purchase something that is technology, like hardware, software, I have to get the military version. The civilian version is not powerful enough for what I'm designing because I'm building things from the future, right? So take Meta, for example. Out of the two eye sets that they have the real military Johnny Blaze one, and they have the entry level sports edition, which is not the watered down version, but the most basic hardcore version. Now, to have the military version, you need both of them. So, not only are the military versions of each model 3 times the price, but you need both of them to have the real military design. So now they have a different line for people that are not engineers, that are not into, technology to that extreme elite level, and they introduce this version of the system that's only $300. They get somebody like Kylie Jenner, which has so many verticals and horizontals in her brand, her family as a brand. And not only is it a price that is a third of the main system, actually, no, it's a fourth the cost of the main system. It's a third of the other system that you need, and it is 10% the cost of the military unit. That's what you need to think about. They have 26 different versions. The one that they're marketing is the one that she designed, but she also endorsed the rest of the collection. So where can you buy it? Exclusive retail outlets, and of course directly from Meta. But what's going to be most commonly available? The other 26 that are not her design, but it's her design that is pushing the narrative for you to be interested in buying one of the 26 designs. And also, it gives them the opportunity to explain why the top tier systems, both civilian and military application, and the sports system is a great deal because it's so much more powerful by comparison. But they're allowing you to test the system by getting the most basic unit, which is more fashionable because it's going to be something that they're training technology on. So one of the aspects of humanizing robotics and things like that is to teach them how humans interact with the world. So it's different from you having an autonomous system, right? Let's say you can activate your Copilot, your DeepSeek R1, your Chat GPT, etc. You're having to go externally from yourself to the system, use the system, and then disconnect. By you putting it on wearable technology, now it's learning from your environment about how you personally, specifically view the world. So that data now they could feed into an autonomous system, most likely a robot or a cybernetic, type of organism that would be able to engage in the environment in the same way that a human being would. Because just like a Tesla, it's always learning how you drive and what you're doing on the road, and it's a combined ecosystem. This is what wearable technology is going to do. Now, as a believer in maker technology, of course, I would like for it to be upgradable so that you can build it in modules and make it as powerful as you need it. But technology, it's not that technology is not there, but the consumers probably are not willing to spend the money yet because they don't see the full value. So it's a tough sale to say this unit is $4,000 or $5,000 when you know that it connects to a few other systems that are $4,000 or $5,000. The average person, unless you own a company, you're not going to spend that kind of money. So even half of that is still far from the reach of everyday consumers. But the more this rolls out, the more people buy it, the lower the prices are. Like I said, the base system compared to the elite system is a fourth of the price, but it's a third of the sports system, which is showing you all the three modules. So now it changes the dynamic of the game. If you want the military version, you have to combine all three. And you need the technology to combine all three. You need the hardware and the software to make it all work. Because if it doesn't work, people are going to have a bad experience. They're not going to use it. They're going to move on to the next best thing. So this is a home run. Why? Because although it's still a premium luxury item, it's still attainable. Even if people use credit, even if they use like a payment system, you know how like when you go get a cell phone, they tell you, put $500 down and pay whatever, $75 a month, something like that. How they bundle it, how they market it is going to be an excellent lesson in how they're introducing something new that has not been created. So from a consumer standpoint and from an analysis standpoint, we can understand what that is, right? At the same time, as entrepreneurs, we have to acknowledge how messed up the system is that when we go to venture capital firms and we're trying to promote these products and services in these industries and trades, the investment firms are like, we don't understand. What don't you understand? It's new technology, it's never been done before. A lot of investment firms, right? Everybody has their sacred cows, right? They're afraid of being tied into a contract long term. So again, we use the example of SpaceX to show you that in technology, everybody can play fair. Listen, we're going to partner up for 36 months, but wait, there's more. We're going to do it in 90-day increments. First 3 months, we're joined at the hip. There's nothing you guys can do, there's nothing we can do. But after that, any moment after 90 days, now if you want to part ways, all you need to do is give us a 90-day notice. That's all you need to do. You give us a 90-day notice and home run. And that's the important factor there. Why? Because now you yourself can think outside of the box and tell the investment firms, you know what? Something new was just created. Something new is starting to hit the market. And these are the reasons why. Technology, Web3, blockchain technology, all those things, AI, cloud computing, portable digital wearable devices, all those things are all connected. What better example than one of the biggest companies? They have one of the biggest IPOs ever, and they're able to be flexible on the terms. Like, we know the vision, we're actively building towards that vision. We see the long term. There's no need to put anything in cement. There's no need to just lock into this. Remember, the whole agreement, worst case scenario is 3 years. That was unheard of. People wanted to do contracts that were 5, 10, 15 years. I'll give you a wild card example because I'm doing a study on it. So you guys know I'm working with different companies like Reebok, Nike, Adidas, and stuff like that. It's just a very small investment, but this is what I learned. When you look at these NCAA athletes that are working their way through the Nike camps, etc., and all the other Division 3, Division 2, Division 1, etc. programs to get into the NBA, these guys were signing contracts that were 7 years, 10 years. Jordan signed a 10-year deal. That was the first deal for Jordan sneakers. So many other athletes, Stephon Marbury, he signed a 7-year deal. But then you look at athletes like Shaquille O'Neal and Allen Iverson, they have a life-term contract with Reebok, which is why we're doing the internship with Reebok. Because now Shaq is the main CEO of basketball shoe development, and he's the president. And the vice president, of course, is Allen Iverson. So this puts so many things into perspective if you can apply it to your industry, your trade, your product, or your services, or just your service. Maybe your company only does one thing and it's really, really good at doing that one thing. So why is that important? I have to deal with people in the entertainment world, right? No matter what you do, they're so romanticized. They're so into the old school way of doing things. They're still telling you, yo, read this book, everything you need to know about the music business. My man, the music business has not been the same for the last 5 years. You can agree with me, you could disagree with me, you can understand, you could choose not to understand, you could be vigilant and on top of it, or you could be ignorant to it. It doesn't matter. It's amazing for me to look at all these characters playing all these roles in these made-up fantasies that they don't understand that the game has completely changed. And all that is left is some of the people that are holding on to strong points where they were gatekeepers, where they were able to control certain narratives, right? And the good people that were left behind that are still trying to figure it out. All of those good people are coming over here to technology because this is where the good stuff is. This is where the future is, not in the previous system. So what does it highlight and what does it really showcase to you? It shows you the mentality of these people involved. So again, I'm Hispanic, I'm dark skinned, I put hot sauce on everything, but I can deal with technology with SpaceX and NVIDIA and Tesla and the best of them. And it is the elephant in the room. We need to talk about those things. It is not cool in my culture to like computers and know technology. You know, we could be criticized social politically for spending $5,000 on a digital platform. That the average person may think this is a regular platform, but this is the military version. This is this is a used car right here. So you have to ask yourself, what can I do to extrapolate value from an investment like this? And this is just one component. Remember, all these tech components, one works with the other, one system helps the other system. If that system doesn't work, the system crashes. What am I designing and engineering that I could use a platform like this? Also, how frequently, how often does a new system come out? And you have to make the investment again. And that's the name of the game. It's simple. You don't have to agree. You don't have to understand. You don't have to engage. You could be neutral. But the reality is, new systems are coming out. Better hardware, better software. So what does that lead to? Better software, better hardware. Then it goes back again. Better hardware, better software. And it just doesn't stop. One system leads to the next. One breakthrough leads to the next. And every company, every engineer, every designer is fighting towards the same goal. Who breaks through is whoever is able to hold on to the new changes that are coming. The whole world is like, no, 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 wait. Do you know, for example, let's talk about video games, right? We know video games are a much bigger world and universe than movies have ever been, radio, television, etc. Do you know that most digital
If it does,
uh,
is just more of a tail risk
platforms that are rechargeable have more power than systems that were in the market 20, 30 years ago? Better graphics, better processor, everything it does is way better. And the majority of developers that are developing new games, they're going to develop a version for mobile. It may not be as comfortable, it may not be as comparable, but the fact that it's still there is the key to the success. Just like I give you an example with the Meta glasses. It doesn't matter if you have the military edition, if you have the sports edition, or if you have the civilian edition. What is important is that it's starting to trickle down to everyday use. Think about how many people use a type of MP3 player or AirPod or iPod. At first, it was limited. It was considered luxury. Then it started breaking through. A lot of sports editions. Then it just started breaking through. Then more and more people were able to use it. Think about how it has improved and changed communication. You don't know how many times I have to speak to my mother and I have to tell her, "Your mom, you have to lower your voice. You're destroying my ears." I have very powerful equipment. So if my mom is screaming and she thinks I'm in front of her, I'm really hearing her like she's screaming at me and she's in front of me. And she's causing that stress in my heart. You get what I'm trying to say? Now that this older generation is embracing technology, they understand, oh, okay, now, especially I'm Hispanic in my culture, now they understand what is surround sound. I'll give you another example. In my home and in all my investments, we have surround sound. For people that don't understand acoustics, that don't deal with sound all the time, they don't understand that. So one of my relatives will go into one of my businesses and they'll say, "Yo, the music is so loud." There's a difference between clear and loud. Loud is uncontrollable. You don't know what the heck is going on. You cannot have a conversation. Clear is it can be experiencing the environment. We can still have a conversation. We can enjoy the moment. It sets the tone. It sets the ambiance. But it's not overbearing. It's just where it needs to be. So I'll give you another wild card example. In a lot of my franchises, there everything in the actual space is divided into zones, and every zone has acoustic or an acoustic signature. So, for example, when you enter the business, you have like a family-friendly zone where the acoustic sound is geared towards the mothers and the children. That's zone one. Zone two is the business zone. So everything in that environment is business, work related, education related. Then you have the environment where the actual products and services are made. That type of entertainment is completely different. So every single system is computationally designed so that when you enter the environment, you're traveling through a sea of sound as part of your experience. And the combination of knowing what those frequencies are, how things need to be, is the signature of the franchise. And that is the key to the success. Why? Because it's not what you do, it's how you do it. We're not trying to have you be a customer and just purchase one thing and never come back. We want you to be a client, meaning you're going to frequent the place because of the environment. It's not the product or the service. Ultimately, people come because they want that personal connection. That's what people really are yearning for. That place of respect, understanding where everything is neutral, everything is clear. That experience, you cannot put a price on. That's the difference between a good business and a really successful business. Whether you have one franchise or 100, you're going to have the same headache. The choice is up to you. If I'm going to give an experience to my clients, it's going to be the best. If it's leather equipment that we're purchasing and we're integrating, it's going to be the best leather on planet Earth. If it's a coffee bean, I'm going to send specialists all over the world to pick out the best coffee beans to give you the best experience. That is the key to the success. That's the secret sauce. So again, it's not just the technology, it's making it attainable for the average person that's willing to step up to the plate just a little bit. Because think about it. There's a lot of designer eyewear that is expensive without technology. So the fact that you have something similar, comparable to it, more affordable with technology creates a whole new segment. Again, from an entrepreneur standpoint, imagine you pitching this idea to all the companies involved so you can get them under an agreement to then go to venture capital and try to explain that to venture capital. Let's have a basic example. I have this idea. I know you guys have the military Johnny Blaze joint, and it composed, one system composes of the two. And I know you have a sports edition. I have an idea for a designer frame or a designer collection that only uses the basic idea as an entry level piece, right? Where we can all come together, we'll get a celebrity to push the line, we'll release it in limited markets when it comes to the celebrity figure. But in general, in the consensus, we have an additional 26 designs. It's going to be more affordable. And we're using it based on the inclination that already in the market, there are brands that just sell high-end luxury items. We have something comparable, similar, more affordable, but wait, there's more. It has the technology. It's an entry level point to everything else that you guys do. Now, I'm going to flip the script on you. That proposal could have come from the franchising brand of the Kardashian family. This is where my company, my services will come in. I would be the guy to say, yo, Kylie, you know what? We need to come out with our new joints. We're going to go to these companies. We're going to put them together, let them invest the money to organize everything, get everything under a corporation, right? Holdings company. Then we are going to go shop it to private investment firms. And once we shop it to them and they agree, they're going to slam dunk everything. We're just going to give them the alley-oop because they have their own marketing dollars. They have their own engineering dollars. They can do all of their designs in-house. They already have a system in place. We're just giving them another opportunity to have a highly mass-produced product of the same thing. In other words, it's the remix. Everybody wins. But what is the challenge? You as an entrepreneur, you could be the visionary. You could be the person that gels everything together. I'll give you an example. If you guys saw the documentary on Netflix, it's called Pepsi, Where's My Harrier Jet, right? Where's my jet? The first lawyer that they got was the person that could do the research and bring everybody together. The first investor could do all the research to bring the first set of lawyers. The second set of lawyers were now doing the litigation, and they were just passing it off from one legal team to get everything situated, get incorporated, business plan and finance, to the next level, to the next level, to the next level. The challenge is when you walk into the boardroom, when I'm not going to say BlackRock and Blackstone would not be a good example because they're going to want you to have closed deals with other investment firms, right? But when you walk into these investment firms and you're Hispanic like me and you put hot sauce on everything and you're dark skinned, it's not cool to know technology. It's not cool to be a visionary. Now you have to sell yourself 9,000% stronger than you would if it was different. You have to be strong enough to say, yo, we own a technology company. This is the idea. Take it or leave it. This is what it is. And if you want, we could be flexible on the terms. Look at this huge example that happened on Monday. $6.3 billion. SpaceX, which is the United States, basically, right? And all these other companies. And this is how they put it together. 90 days, we're joined at the hip. After that, 90 days if you want to walk away. Plus, the term is only 36 months. I predict that the following agreements after the next 2 or 3 years is going to be 24 months because you've seen an emergence in the last 5 years of 1 year agreements, 2 year agreements. 3 years is like what 10 years used to be before COVID 19. So if I go from COVID 19 to now, that's a 6 year cycle. It makes complete sense that the next cycle will be 3 years. The following cycle will be a year and a half. They'll extend it to 24 months. That's what you guys need to do when you're writing your pitch decks, your business plan, and your proposals. And like Dan Pena says, don't take no for an answer. You walk right into the bank with your business plan, have a seat. They're going to make you wait. Instead of an hour, you probably wait 5 hours. No problem. The most time you're going to wait in the bank is whatever the banker's hours are. If you go on Monday and you wait for that deal, and you go on Tuesday and wait for that deal, and you go on Wednesday and you go 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they're going to cut a check. They're going to make a deal. But the problem is most people are not willing to go through that humiliation because you will be humbled. You will be humiliated. But that's the key to the success. It's a numbers game. Colonel Sanders got 10,000 no's. He needed 1 yes. Success. How many no's can you deal with? How many times can your loved ones, and it's usually is the family, it's the toxic family and the frenemies, right? Oh, you should quit. Go do construction. This is the my culture, right? Why don't you open a restaurant? Why don't you open up a car dealership? What about a supermarket? No, I don't want to open up a barbershop or salon. I did that already. I don't want to just open up a car dealership. I don't want to just own a restaurant. I want to deal with technology. And it's our own family that's like, no, but that's not for us. This is the easy way. Yo, why are you going to deal with technology? Yo, we can open up a restaurant. No, I want it different. My grandparents, they were all about coffee and sugar cane and pineapples and rice and land and stock and bulls and cows and horses. And that's cool. That's my heritage. I love it. But that's not what I want to do for the rest of my life. First of all, I like to travel, so I don't want to be tied down to one investment because that's another thing too. If you have an investment and you have to physically be there, you're just investing in a job for yourself. You're just self-employed in a really, really fancy way. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to go do whatever I want to do and not be tied down to things. And again, the only types of investments that can give you that freedom are those investments that require for you to use your brain, not like your physical, yo, I'm going to go do construction. You know how many people I know that are, military background, right? And what do? They develop like military technology. So what does that require? It requires a lot of physical labor. A lot of them are like welders, right? They're welding like battleships and, airport, carriers and helicopters and tanks and all that stuff. Yeah, they make great money. And shout out to the people in the service that do those things. Nothing against that. But the problem is very few of them have quality of life. Yeah, they're making three, four, five, $6,000 a week. They're making like 1,000, $3,000 a day. But if you see the burns on their face, on their hands, you see what it does to their eyes, to their back, to their feet. Is it worth it? I'd rather be designing a computer system that designs the hardware that builds it so that people don't have to go through that. I'll give you an example with Hulk Hogan, right?
All right, Anthony, thank you.
Again, amazing documentary. You guys can see it on
We're
Netflix.
checking some of these live pictures that are coming through.
All of his back problems were because of his finishing move. In the finishing move, Hogan will clothesline you, body slam you, and then he will come with the people's leg and he would drop kick you. But when he did that, he was landing on his back every single time. So after 25, 30 years, all those little micro fractures in the ligament, in the bone structure, in everything that makes your back what it is, all those things are just shifting and moving. So before he passed away, his back was like a chicane. From the lower back to the middle back to the upper back, he was just going through surgeries after surgeries after surgeries after surgeries. There is a limit. There are no spare parts for the human body. There's only so many surgeries you can have before you could potentially damage something worse than what you're getting the surgery for, and should not be taken lightly. So long as you're healthy enough to work around whatever trauma has happened to the body. But again, it's the small incremental changes, right? It's being able to identify those things, whether it's in your business, in your product, in your service, in your industry, or your trade. It's understanding what the long-term play is going to be. Too many entrepreneurs are worried about today, or even worse, they're worried about yesterday because they want to please the family, the frenemies, the social political structures that at the end of the day, they could care less if you have a Lamborghini or not. They don't care if you live in the Bel Air mansion. You can't drive it. You can't take the mansion with you everywhere you go. You cannot bring the car into the nightclub. That's why you see people at the bar with the keychain. Oh, I got a Ferrari. Let me get a club soda with vodka. You get what I'm trying to say? So again, it's a combination of all of these things. In my culture, it's not cool to like technology. In my culture, it's not cool to talk about processors and GPUs and CPUs. But that's where the generational wealth is. You don't need 100 deals like that. You need a few deals like that, consistently. I gave you the example with Elon Musk. Look at all his verticals, look at all his horizontals. He continues to close these deals. That's why this dude is a trillionaire. And I have no choice but to be inspired. This man just closed a $6.3 billion deal. This guy just made $1 trillion. Still closed a $6.3 billion deal. And people will say, I don't understand. You don't get it? That's a choice. I completely get it. I'm completely inspired by it. So what am I going to do towards the end of the day? Now, all of the people that I work with in entertainment, I have to process all of this data and pass it along to them and say, yo, look at these deals that happened in the last 72 hours that are going to affect the economy and the market for the next 36 months. And look how crazy this deal is. Look how flexible this deal is. Because people can be intimidated when you go into a boardroom and you know what you're talking about. So the sad reality is, we're not ready to go into those investment firms because you're going into a room full of sharks. And they're going to try to intimidate you. They'll keep you waiting and they'll cancel the meeting and they'll postpone it. In the documentary, Pepsi, Where's My Jet? The gentleman that was putting together the lawsuit was using free marketing campaign, free press to get the story out, right? Because that's all they could do at the time. There was no internet. And everything was scheduled for them to have a interview at the Late Show, right? Or the Tonight Show. No, I think it was with David Letterman, right? And at the last minute, after waiting for months, putting it together in weeks and days, and they flew them out to New York, they canceled it because Pepsi was one of the biggest sponsors in the program, and they were going to talk about suing them or the lawsuit. So I leave you guys with that. That's all the time that we have for today. I have conveyed everything that I think is important for you guys to ace your finals. So have an amazing day today. May you conquer everything in your path, and may everything that you touch turn into solid gold bars and silver bars and beautiful and precious gemstones such as moissanite or laboratory grown diamonds or any laboratory grown gem. Always remember to dream big because dreams come true. It happened to me, and I know for a fact it's going to happen to you. Have an amazing day. God bless.
That's taken the stage, and of course, it's a harbor source that seems to